What are the positive things about the treaty? Why should people vote?
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I think, the general objective of the treaty is to promote democracy in the European Union and to make the European institutions run more smoothly and more effectively for the people of Europe. So it's not particularly sexy or exciting, but it's meritorious, and they are changes that are needed in order to make the EU function better for all of us. I mean, people complain a lot that the European Union is remote, that it doesn't have any bearing on their lives, or they don't feel that they're part of the process. And I think the Lisbon Treaty is most definitely going to improve that.
Ireland as a country has changed an awful lot in the last 12 months since we last voted. Do you think it's more important than ever, than even last year, that we vote yes this time?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think that anybody 12 months ago could have predicted the situation that we'd be in now. There were live register figures published yesterday. 420,000 people now unemployed, claiming social welfare benefit, and that is an unsustainable situation. Obviously, the priority for Ireland has to be economic recovery, getting ourselves out of this economic morass that we're in right now, and the best way to achieve that, and certainly a crucial stepping stone in Ireland's recovery, is going to be absolutely linked to the European Union. So I think a yes vote will firstly send a very, very positive message to our partners in the European Union, many of whom fund Ireland through the European Central Bank and fund our banks and have kept the country afloat for the last 12 months. But also I think it sends out a very positive message to multinational companies that we need to continue to attract to Ireland, who employ hundreds of thousands of people in this country. We need to keep the ones that are here, and we need to attract new inward investment to Ireland, and being at the heart of Europe is so fundamental to that.
And what do you think the consequences would be if we were to vote no to another referendum?
I think, firstly, I think that there will be serious consequences. I'm not saying, and I would never suggest that, companies are going to shut down overnight, or that jobs are going to be lost within a week. But I think over time there will be a very significant negative knock-on effect. I mean, you just have to listen to the CEOs of some of the major employers in Ireland, like Microsoft, like Intel, and other foreign companies who have invested here. You know, one of the key decision-making factors was Ireland's place in Europe. So a third no vote in a period of 6 or 7 years, in my view, would have a very negative effect. And I think that is something that will be tangible. So it's something that I think we need to bear in mind. I mean, on the other hand, if you look at European Central Bank funding in Ireland, over the last 12 months, Ireland has received more per head of population than any other European member state. Is that going to continue at that same level if Ireland isolates itself from the European Union? Why should the Germans continue essentially to bail out our banks? I don't see that as being something that would be sustainable. So, I certainly don't want to use scaremongering tactics, but if I'm asked, are there consequences, I have to honestly answer from my own gut instinct, yes, there definitely would be negative consequences.
So on a positive note, the Fine Gael message this time is yes to jobs and yes to recovery. Do you think that'll happen? Do you think that the Lisbon Treaty, if we vote yes, that'll help aid our recovery and create new jobs?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, Ireland's economy is based on exports to other countries, and 60% of our exports go to the European Union. So we have to get back in terms of our competitiveness. We have to get back into, being a part of the key decision-making structures in the European Union. And if we vote no, I'm not so sure that that's going to be possible. If we vote yes, I believe it will be possible, and I believe that the goodwill towards Ireland will be very tangible, and I think it'll help us in terms of getting ourselves out of the economic mess that we're in. It'll help us to start on the road to recovery, and it will ultimately help us to start creating jobs again. It won't happen overnight, but I think that this will be an important first step.
So your message to all Fine Gael supporters and voters out there, what would you say to them?
I would say, whatever you may feel about the government, about what's happening, about NAMA, about the banks, all of it, I would ask people to put it to one side. That's what we're doing in the Fine Gael Parliamentary Party. We have obviously huge issues with the government at the moment. We disagree with them fundamentally on virtually everything. But on Lisbon, we are putting the country first, we're putting the nation first, and we're putting the Irish people first. And I would ask Fine Gael members and supporters to do the same thing. It's in our national interest. We can't afford to essentially damage the country in order to damage the government. We'll have our opportunity. There will be a general election at some point in the next 12 months probably. but this is too important. Don't use this referendum to punish Fianna Fáil. Use it as a positive stepping stone for Irish recovery.